Hello there, and welcome again. This is Andy Nicol, the course tutor for the Perfectly Spoken Advanced course. And in today's lesson, we're going to look at collocation, and specifically adjectives and noun collocation. So, typical adjective and noun collocations. And so, first of all, what do we mean by collocation? It's a word which you'll hear a lot of in terms of language teaching. And what we mean really is how words combine together. For example, we wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Of course, we tend to say Merry Christmas and we tend to say Happy New Year. Happy and merry are synonyms. They mean more or less the same, but we don't tend to say Merry New Year, for example, or Merry Birthday. We say Happy Birthday. So we're looking at how words typically combine together. And also that some combinations are not possible or unusual. Have a look at the following example. We have a something range of products on offer. So the noun here is range, and we have two adjectives here, long and wide. But only one of these adjectives usually combines with range. Which is it? The $60 million question, and of course it is wide. We have a wide range of products on offer. We do not say a long range of products on offer. So the adjective wide collocates quite strongly with the noun range. Some collocations are very strong. They occur again and again. Other nouns, for example, have lots of words which can collocate with them. Others have very limited number of words that collocate with them. Similarly, we can talk about heavy or light rain. They are kind of opposites, but we don't normally say strong rain. Okay, so that's what we're going to practice today, to look at and see how you do with the collocations of adjectives and nouns. So here's the first example. Which option here is not possible? So we have three options. Two are possible, one is not possible or not usual. So here we go. The teacher is doing a very good job with his students. He says, my students have made something progress since their mid-course exam. Okay, so they're doing really well now. They've made something progress. So here are the options: large progress, considerable progress, and significant progress. So which of these options is not possible? Two of them collocate quite normally with progress. One of them is not possible. Pause the recording if you want to think about this at any point. And the answer is that we cannot, or we do not usually say large progress. Okay, you can talk about significant progress or considerable progress in any context. I've made considerable progress in my for my report at work or whatever. Okay, so we use considerable or significant are both possible here. Okay, let's have a look at another example. The naturalist has a or an something knowledge, I've put an here because one of the options begins with a vowel, of the flora and the fauna in the Amazon. Flora being the plants and flowers, fauna being the animals. So we're talking about a naturalist, somebody like the famous BBC naturalist David Attenborough, for example. There we go, a very nice picture of some macaws. They're parrot-like birds, birds of paradise in the Amazon. And so here are the options: vast, extensive, and enormous. Okay, one of these is not a common combination with the word knowledge. So is it vast? Is it extensive? Is it enormous? Again, please do pause the recording if you want some time to think. And the one which we don't normally use is enormous. Off you go off the screen. So we can talk about a vast knowledge that really knows everything pretty much about it. Extensive means knows quite a lot, okay, or a lot. Vast, I would say, is stronger than extensive, but both of them are possibilities with the word knowledge. They collocate with the word knowledge. Okay, so let's move on to another example. Okay, so here we've got a new marketing manager. She's really shaking things up at the company, and everybody's very impressed with her. The new marketing manager's ideas had a something impact on the entire team. All her colleagues were like, oh, wow, this is amazing. She's got fantastic ideas. So it's something impact. And here are the options: extreme, profound, and huge. Extreme or profound or huge. Okay, again, one of these options does not normally collocate with the word impact. Again, pause the recording if you need some time to think here. And the one which is not possible is extreme. Bye-bye extreme. Okay? A profound impact, a huge impact are both possible. You could say an enormous impact as well. There are other possibilities. Impact has a few possibilities. Incidentally, looking at the picture, could you tell me what the team are doing there? They're putting ideas onto the board. This is a little revision of a previous lesson on expressions with brain and mind. And the answer is brainstorming. They're brainstorming. They're spontaneously generating ideas as they come to their minds. Okay, so they're brainstorming. Okay, let's move on. Another example for you. If you are looking, or you're looking for a new car, we have a something range of offers at the moment. There we go, a very attractive looking sports car there, an Audi, by the looks of it. It looks very nice. Okay, so which adjectives can combine with the noun range? Wide, extensive, long. Well, all of them can combine with range, but one of them doesn't make any sense in the context. It's a different meaning altogether. And the answer is a long range of offers. Okay, long range exists. Long range missile, for example, which means that it can go very far. But if you want to say you have lots of offers, it's a wide range or an extensive range. So really this isn't a problem of collocation, because long can combine with range, but it has a different meaning. Of course, we should say an extensive range if we use the adjective extensive, an extensive range. Okay, so this would be a good place, obviously, to go and buy a new car because they have lots of offers. All right, here's the next one. There is a something degree of disagreement about how the dinosaurs died out. Okay, and there's a nice picture there of Tyrannosaurus Rex, a T-Rex, I think, or something similar, large meat-eating or carnivore. a meat-eating dinosaur. Yeah, so lots of theories about meteors and giant smoke clouds being thrown up and so on, but nobody's 100% sure how it happened. Lots of different theories. So, something degree, a high degree, a wide degree, a considerable degree of disagreement. One of these is not possible. We don't normally use it with degree. Again, pause the recording if you'd like to think. And the answer is goodbye wide. Yes, we talk about a high degree of disagreement, considerable degree. So high degree, considerable degree are possible. Wide degree is not usual or typical. Okay, here's another one. The something rain has meant that all matches today have been called off. This happens regularly at Wimbledon, the major tennis competition in the UK. It's very often rained off. We say rained off as well. Rain has stopped play. Match has been rained off. So the word rain, there are certain adjectives that can collocate with it. We've got heavy here, strong, torrential. One is not typical or would sound strange in the context. The something rain has meant that all matches today have been called off. One of these is not typical. Pause the recording if you'd like a little bit more time to think, as always. And the one that isn't typical is strong. We don't normally talk about strong rain. We can talk about strong winds, but we tend to talk about heavy rain, torrential rain, driving rain. That's very heavy rain. That's the wind blows into your face or towards you, driving rain. It's heavy and it's propelled by the wind, driving rain. So a number of options. Opposite, obviously, of light rain and so on. But strong rain is not typical. I've received, that's better, something, number of replies to my online advert. Okay, and there's the guy showing up his smartphone. He's got some kind of, I think it's a pottery, ceramics business, and he's placed an advert, and lots of people have replied. I've received a something number of replies to my online advert. So here are the possibilities. A gigantic, a large, and a high. Which of these is not possible or not typical? And the answer is gigantic. Gigantic. Gigantic really normally refers to size, as in physical size, not to quantity, not to the number of replies. So a large number of replies, yes. A high number of replies, yes. Gigantic number of replies is not typical. No. Okay. Here's another one. I inherited a something amount from my late aunt. Amount meaning amount of money. In the context, we understand he's talking about money, but you could say something amount of money from my late aunt. My late meaning not that she's not early. It actually is a polite way to say that unfortunately his aunt has died. If you talk about your late grandmother or your late aunt, it means that she's no longer with us. She's died. Okay? So, inherited. Which words? Of course, amount here with money is a uncountable amount. In the previous example, large number, etc., is for countable nouns. So, substantial, high, huge. One of these is not typical or not possible. And the answer is high, a high amount. We don't typically say a high amount. We can talk about a huge amount of money, substantial amount of money, but high amount, no. Okay, substantial means a lot, something fairly significant. Okay, substantial amount of money. Okay, here's another one. I don't like working under something pressure. I get really stressed and make lots of mistakes. So something pressure. Under Pressure, of course, the famous song by Queen with David Bowie, I think, wasn't it? But anyway, under something pressure. Which words can combine with pressure, which is not possible? Got extensive, constant, and considerable. Okay, one of these is not typical, not usual, not possible. And the answer is extensive. We don't talk about extensive pressure. We talk about constant pressure, meaning non-stop. Considerable, meaning lots. Okay, both possible in the context. Slight difference in meaning. But extensive pressure we don't say. Okay, this was in a recent PS News article. We talked about how in the West, at least, there are large numbers of people giving up smoking. However, in the third world and in the developing world, smoking is still on the increase. So an something increase in the number of people giving up, meaning stopping smoking. It's a phrasal verb, to give up, to quit, to not smoke anymore. So which words combine with increase? Significant, great, and substantial. And the answer is great. We don't talk about a great increase. We can talk about a significant increase, a substantial increase, but a great increase is not possible. Incidentally, increase here, obviously, a noun. As an aside, in terms of pronunciation, often you get nouns and verbs which are the same word, but there's a difference in pronunciation. With the noun, you tend to stress the first syllable. For example, increase, an increase is a noun, and to increase, the stress on the second syllable is the verb. Similarly with present and present and so on. Okay, so we have these nouns and verbs which are the same word. There is usually a difference in pronunciation with stress in the noun on the first syllable. That's just a pronunciation aside there. Okay, so don't throw away your something bread. Instead, why not use it to make breadcrumbs? Okay, a lot of articles in the news about trying to avoid waste. We have lots of people who don't have access to food, etc. And people in the West very often throw away food which is still possible to be consumed, to be eaten, and it's a huge waste. So this is something that people are trying to change, the mentality. So we're talking about bread which is not fresh, essentially. We have lots of words for meaning not fresh, but depending on the food stuff, we use different words. So let's look at the options here for bread and see which one's not possible. And there's some bread there that's past its best. So which one is not typical? Stale, rotten, and old. One of these is not possible or not usual. And the answer is rotten. We talk about stale bread. This is when the bread has been around a long time and has gone hard, or just old, not fresh. Rotten, however, we use with things like vegetables, rotten veg, rotten fruit, rotten meat, but we don't talk about rotten bread. We can talk about mouldy bread. Mouldy bread is when it's gone green, etc. But if it's gone mouldy, I wouldn't advise making breadcrumbs with it once it's reached that stage. Mouldy, no. Okay. So, obviously, this is not an extensive list of all the collocation, but this is just to make you aware the existence of collocation, adjectives and nouns that go together. When you're learning new vocabulary, it's important to learn chunks of language, what adjectives and nouns combine. Reading a lot in English obviously helps with this as well. You'll see the combinations. Anyway, in the next lesson, which is lesson 30, we're going to look at the following. A review lesson of lessons 26 to 29 with, it's not lesson 25, lesson 30, sorry. Me again, Andy Nicol. And we're going to look at, first of all, grammar, articles and nouns, both countable and uncountable. We looked at in lessons 26 and 28. Obviously, articles, things like we don't use an article with countries except for where we mentioned political organisation, for example, the United Kingdom, the Pacific Oceans with oceans of an article, Mount Everest, no article with mountains, etc. Nouns, both countable and uncountable. Remember, words like chicken, the animal, is countable, a chicken, whereas chicken, the meat, is uncountable, and so on. We'll be looking at the collocations with give and make that we looked at in lesson 27. For example, to make an impression or to give somebody an impression. And we'll be looking at today's lesson, adjective and noun collocations. Okay, so as always, I hope you found this lesson useful. For me, it's been a pleasure talking to you, and I look forward to you tuning in to my next broadcast. Take care, and bye-bye for now.